Hello everyone and welcome to another Versus video. Today we're going to see how bad Todd can destroy me with his deck.
Again?
Yeah, like always.
I don't know, there was like a while where like I lost to you and BB like every week, so
that is true.
There was like 3 or 4 weeks in a row where I didn't win one, but...
Yeah, well it's been about a month for me. I think the last person I beat was Tom Ross, right before he won the Invitational with Infect.
Yeah. Yep,
I'm the last person Jerry and I are the last two people that beat him with Infect. Or, well, he was playing it. But anyway, today we're going to be playing a Sultai Dredge deck. Now, I know that we've done this already, but this one is the more aggressive version. Yeah. And a lot like last season when we saw the black-green Dredge decks pop up with Night Howlers and Nemesis Immortals and things of that nature. I'm, bringing that back with just Sidisi. Yeah. So let's take a look at the deck, and we'll go through the ins and outs pretty quickly. Sadly, we do not have 4 Sidisi. I only could open 1 in the pre-release.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes that happens, like with new cards. Like they're really hard to find. Yeah,
and but for the rest of the deck, we've got Elf, Courser, Wayfinder, and Commune as our early game generators. We've got a couple Nyx Weavers. I don't know if these are better than Nemesis Immortals, but because they help both of these for the rest of the game. I think that this card is probably worth it.
No, I think Nyx Weaver actually got so much better with the new set because Dredge came back that I think that he's going to be one of the cards where people don't really know if they should play how many copies they should play or if they should play any. And then the more they play with it, the more they're going to realize they want more copies of it because it does just fuel your deck. Like, it makes your Night Howlers better, your Necropolis Fiends better, your Sidisi's better.
It also makes when it's in play and you have a huge graveyard, it also does some really good things.
Yeah, like you can just rebuy Murderous Cuts and just have crazy turns where you get to double kill things or whatever.
Or rebuy a Herald of Torment to fly over. But the one card I want to talk about is, I don't even know how to say his name, Rakshasa?
Rakshasa?
Death Dealer? All right, so this card is...
Putrid Leech.
Yeah, Putrid Leech, number 2. All right, so bring the cameras up. We'll talk about that, and then we're going to go to the sideboard, because this is just we all know this deck. We're going to Night Howler and Herald of Torment, our guys, and we're going to try to attack. But the thing about Rakshasa...
Just say Putrid Leech number 2.
Putrid Leech number 2 is, it's
Pew
a good...
2.
Yeah, Pew 2. Kind of like Mewtwo, Pew 2.
Yeah, that was a joke.
All right, so Pew 2 is a sweet card that is a mana sink, and it's an early aggressive card that a black-green deck can just attack with. And much like any creatures we've seen in the past, the Coursers and the Characters are just going to have to take 2. So it's just a free fear of damage. Yeah. At the same time, it has regeneration, so in the late game, it can beat a lot of the wrath effects and things of that nature.
I mean, the previous versions of this deck in the last interseason were playing Lawless Troll. Yeah. And it feels kind of similar to Lawless Troll, except you don't have to discard cards to make it good. You just have to have extra mana. And decks like this with Satyr Wayfinder, Mana Guys, and things like that are going to have
stuff to do.
A ton of extra mana on turns 6, 7, 8, And those are going to be the turns where you get to bestow Herald of Torment on this guy, bestow Night Howler on this guy, and just have this giant regenerator that they can't kill, and also just threatens to deal extra damage for every 2 mana you have open. So
yeah, so I'm pretty interested into seeing what this guy can do. And outside of that, we'll get into the sideboard real quick. It's just a normal Dredge deck. We've seen it before, so I don't want to, bore you guys. So let's go to the sideboard. All right, so in the sideboard, we've got some unusual ones, I'm not going to lie. We'll start with the 4 Thoughtseize that are good for these kind of decks because you have a lot of late game, and you have a lot of powerful cards, so you just want to interact with a couple things in the mid game. Like, we're not taking threats with this, we're taking answers. Yeah. 4 Dronosaurs because... Goblin Rabblemaster is the bane of my existence right now. It's always weird to me that I'm the first one out of the gates with a card when a new set comes out, and then after that tournament I hate its guts. And that's what Rabblemaster is. Yeah. You remember me at the Pro Tour? No, I was just like, Rabblemaster's the best card ever, oh my god! Yeah,
and then 2 weeks later you're like, I'm never gonna play Rabblemaster again. And
I hate this card.
And then I'm like, no, it's really good, you should keep playing it instead of this black-white Bremaz deck you're working on. You're like, no, it's really bad. I don't play anymore. Yeah.
So here's 4 Dronosaurs to make sure that doesn't happen. And now the new cards are kind of interesting. We've got the Bloodsoaked Champions in the sideboard against control decks where we mill a lot. It just gives our sideboard some stuff to do. And we could play other cards against control decks, but I think this card actually has a lot of staying power.
Yeah, it's great. These Bloodghast type cards, these Grave Crawlers, these kind of cards are really good against control decks because they have the power to apply early pressure, but also rebuy later in the game. But in this deck, it's specifically good because you can just put into the graveyard on like turn 2 with a Satyr Wayfinder or whatever, and the next turn just attack them for one with Satyr Wayfinder and put it right into play. It's like drawing extra cards off of your Satyr Wayfinders and stuff like that, and it just makes your deck just supercharged. I love this card in the sideboard.
Yeah, and then we've got 2 Empty the Pits for the late game against control decks that are going to try to end hostility, because you'll see in this matchup, end hostility is very good against Night Howler, so we're going to have to like play a little bit passive instead of just jamming that card. But the 2 cards that impressed me the most were Icy Blast in the pre-release. I had it in not only my Two-Headed Giant, but my regular Flight, and it was bonkers good. And I think it's a great card for this, because all these coarser mid-range decks, like this can just tap all their guys, especially with how many powerful creatures I have in the deck. They'll stay tapped for an extra turn. And I just need to find a way to get my Night Howlers through. And this is like the perfect way to actually just get that damage through.
I think it makes a lot of sense. And the fact that it only costs 1 blue is great as well, because the blue is the splash in your deck. So it's not that hard to cast, and it just fits a very specific, or fixes a very specific problem.
It is the most powerful like version of tap all your guys that I've seen in a long time. Like Sleep was also very good, but this one's instant speed. It you can just play it as a tempo card on their turn, which makes it way better.
Or a double fog.
Or double fog. And so this is the most pushed version of tap all your guys. Even though that effect has been weak in the past, I think this is finally the first one that can see some constructive play.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was DC Dredge, and then we'll get to Todd's Kill All the Things deck.
I do want to put 1 asterisk on this deck. If I understand that we're playing a lot of these like Dredge style decks with Satyr Wayfinder and Commune of the Gods. Like Brad kind of brushed over that in the deck, but like we're playing these decks because we think that they're the best decks, and every time we get it, we've gotten like a new set of cards, or now we have the whole set. We actually have a better picture of what we want in the decks. Like my Dredge deck from like last week or 2 weeks ago didn't have Murder's Cut in the main deck because I didn't realize how good it was. But the first time I actually cast the card, just snapped 4 in the main deck, right? And like the card is just very powerful. You know, it does exactly what you want it to do. But I don't want you guys to get like fed up with the redundancy, because we're trying to just give you the best decks that we can produce.
Dude, they don't care. They just want to see us jam cards against cards. I mean, let's be honest.
Okay.
Yeah, they just want to see magic.
All right. Well, my turn.
Okay.